Hello, YouTube. Good evening. My name is Leonardo. I am 27 years old. And here with me are Ju, Bruna, Fernanda, Sara, Charles, and Pedro. And tonight the topic is the power of speech. So I will just split us in small groups and then we can start this conversation, okay? So the girls will be here with me and the boys will be in the small group, okay? Or the opposite. Girls, what do you want? Do you want to be here with me or you want to talk just by yourselves? Sarah?
We can stay here. My opinion, it's okay.
Great.
So we can talk bad about the others. It's good.
Great. So, Pedro, Charles, and Bruno, I will bring you back 10 or 5 minutes before the end, okay? See you. Great. So, let's start, girls. You, Fernanda, and Sarah, please introduce yourselves to me. Sarah, please, can you start?
Sure. So hey, good evening. I'm Sarah. I'm also 27. I like to read, go to the beach, hang out with my friends, and also learning language. So I'm always here to talk and improve my skills. That's it. Nice to meet
Great.
you, guys. Ju.
And Sarah, do you think you have a good communication?
I'm working on it. Like if it is a subject that I'm familiar with, I can do better. But if it is something that it's improvised, not so much. I try to learn more how to be engaging. I really like the speech because he talked about the voice sound, the volume, and the other ways you can use to be better. You know, not only the things you say, but how you say it and how you make people pay attention to you without being unpleasant. For example, you have to find the balance without between being engaging and being too much, you know, with being too loud or something like this. So that is a process for me.
Yeah, I'm just like you, and it'd be better to communicate something when I feel more confident about this subject. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm not a good if I needed to talk with someone. And usual, please introduce yourself.
Good evening. I'm Juliana. I'm 35 years old. I'm from São José dos Pinhais, Paraná State. And I'm not consider that I have a good communication. I think I'm better nowadays, but sometimes I'm not clear on delivering my message. So I need to improve it. So when I need to improvise, I put my best wood face, you know. I don't know that I think there is a proper expression in English for it, but I just try. But I know that if I'm confident about this subject, okay for me, but I think I need to improve a little bit more my communication skills.
Yeah, and I think that something that always happens with me is repeat the same things all the time when I don't feel comfortable to talk. So I can be very precisely, but it doesn't happen because I don't feel comfortable and I start to talk a lot, but I don't need to talk so much. And you, Fernanda?
Well, my name is Fernanda. I live in São Paulo. I live with my mom. I like to learn new languages. And about the question, I think I don't have a good communication. I'm trying to improve, like participating in the meetings. And not, as you said, normally when I don't feel confident about the subject, normally I forgot the things that I have to say, or I keep saying the same thing in different ways, but the same thing again and again.
Yeah, it happens a lot. And Gears, do you think that be here on this place and help you in some way to be more comfortable to talk with different people or talking about different subjects? Because here we have every time many people, different people that we don't know with each other, and we also talk about many topics. So it kind of makes me more comfortable to start a conversation with someone, or feel free to ask, or even to feel more comfortable to interact with someone. So I want to know from you if this place or any other place or what other place can help you to be more comfortable to communicate. Fernando.
I think the participate on the meetings helps me with the communication. Like I need to think about different subjects, how to argue about it. So I think it helps. And about the communication in general, I don't know how can I like try to improve. Normally, I'm trying to um like take the initiative. I don't know if it's right, the initiative for talking sometimes, but normally I prefer to stay quiet because I feel more comfortable like that.
Yeah, I totally understand you. I'm not a talkative person as well, so I try talk just the necessary. And you, Sarah?
Yes, and the other thing, like I try everything to avoid silence because it is so uncomfortable. So I'm the person who makes small talk or try to bring an icebreaker to the conversation, you know. Sometimes I don't because when I feel like I'm the someone who doesn't have a lot of experience, I kind of feel comfortable or like I don't have much to give to the conversation. But here, like being a hostess helps with this because you don't have the option to not talk, you know, so you have to say and keep the conversation going. And I think that's really helpful because at some points in at work especially, you have to communicate and share your ideas and not be the person who gets silent because that could pass the wrong impression to your boss or other colleagues. So for me, I feel more comfortable because I'm here every week. I'm getting used to English, to my image on the screen, even the way I talk, the language, the body language as well. So it's a process that makes me feel okay. That's me, and I'm okay with that. I see some things that I need to improve, but I don't feel like so much pressure that as I used to feel before. You know.
Yeah, and especially about in an English place, about the English language, once my boss just asked me, "Leo, do you know, do you talk English?" And then, yes, I talk. And then we can start to talk English in a meeting. So it was amazing because it was totally unexpected. And he just started to know more about me and start to put me in other projects with more visibility. So there are many things that one conversation can bring to us. And usual.
I think stay here helped me because it's a challenge to talk in English. I think at the beginning it's very uncomfortable to talk, and when you are here, you are exposed. I close my camera. Today I open, and it's different when you close the camera. Okay, no one is seeing you. You feel more safe. And you open the camera, it's like, okay, I'm in a presentation. I feel more nervous, feel more uncomfortable. So I think it's like a train because you should do it. And after some times, it starts to become normal to see you, to talk in English and expose myself.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And when we open our camera, we are totally exposed here. So it's harder than just talk. Talk is hard, but talking with the camera on, it's harder. And you said something really interesting because we're here in a virtual environment. And I want to know from you if do you feel afraid when you need to speak in public or not? You can start, Sarah. Ju.
Yes, I'm freaked out when I need to speak in public. But nowadays, I think it's better. In the past, I start to shake my hands, it's or very visible that I'm nervous. And after some time, I start to take initiative to talk. Okay, I'm nervous, but I'll try. And I think it helped me a lot, you know. I start to be more comfortable, but until now, if it's not for me, I'm not good present or talk in public because until now I feel very afraid of it about the judgment, and I start to talk a lot because I'm nervous.
Yes, and I'm still freaking out when I have to talk in public, especially when it's in a workplace. The last time that I talk in public, it was it was last month in a job meeting. So I have to present myself, and here I do it every week. But there it was terrible because I have to talk in public. So I was really freaked out. And you, Sarah?
I needed to do a pitch last week, and I felt so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I do this every week on Talk and Talk, but it was different because it was a training process. So I was not in my comfort zone, and I was with people who looked so wise, and experienced, like a lot of people who did I forgot the name, exchange programs, like in other countries, and I was like, I'm here just participating, but I don't belong here. I felt like this. So I think this could affect your communication as well if you feel like the other people are better, at least for me. So I generally feel not afraid, but uncomfortable or worried about my results if I would be able to pass the message in the way I need, you know. So for me, I prefer university, this type of environments with students than professionals that have years and years of experience, because I feel like I don't belong and I will mess things up, you know. But like I said, there's always a process and a way to improve.
Yeah, and the environment helps a lot. You said that you felt uncomfortable because you were judged in that moment. And here we're not judging each other, we are just talking. And it's okay, it's amazing. So we feel comfortable, more comfortable to talk. But there are some places who it's not a good. And you, Fernanda.
I normally don't like to speak in public. At the beginning of the year, I had an interview that was in person. And it was like a long time ago. I didn't have a interview like that. So I got so nervous, that I don't even remember the things I said there, because there are the recruiter and other two people in the room, and I was like, oh, there's a long time I don't do an interview like that, and then there are a lot of people. So it was really complicated.
Yes. Yeah, once it happens with me as well, it was terrible because I really wanted that job and it doesn't happen. But you said something really interesting that it's connected with the question number 5. And can good communication help you in a job interview? What do you think after this experience, Fernando?
Well, yeah, it can help. Um, because it's important uh, that you say the right, like the right things. You need to express your qualities. You know, like, oh, I worked with this and that, and it's related to this this application. Or I have this characteristic that can be good for your company. You have to express yourself and say the right things, so you can have a chance. I think like that.
Yeah, and it's not easy to talk many other those things in
Yeah.
a job interview. We basically have some phrases in your minds already prepared, but in that moment we just uh, feel uncomfortable and we don't we don't even talk many basic things that we know. Unusual.
In my opinion, uh, a good communication can help us a lot, because it is first moment to sell ourselves, to sell our job, because even if you have the best resume, usually the recruiter don't know you and don't have an real experience about your job. So you need to convince them that you are qualified for the job. So usually people that have a good communication and they are able to express the ideas to to sell the idea of the candidate, they are better evaluate on this kind of interview, and sometimes they are not the best candidate. Sometimes there are one person with more experience, with more skills, but because the communication, they just lost the opportunity. So it's not, I think it's important, maybe not too crucial, because there are a lot of research to evaluate a candidate, but for sure, it's really important.
Yeah, and it's just the first step. And after we get a job, we still have still being we still need to communicating, exposing our ideas. So it's really hard. But yes, Sarah, what do you think?
I agree with the girls. It is something that it it shows a little bit of you to the company, so it's really important to present yourself. And I was thinking about this technique that is called rapport, that you see something about the interviewer and you try to connect with this person with some interest, and you can call the attention, you can give more attention, receive, sorry, you can receive more attention of this person because of this. So you should be able to communicate not only with your words, but paying attention to the speech of the other person, to have active listening, for example, and always try to make yourself interesting with your experiences and the way you present yourself. I think that's the key that is so hard sometimes, because we are so worried about showing that we know things, and sometimes we forget to be ourselves, so that is a challenge for me all the time. I'm always thinking I have to say that I studied there, that I worked with this and that, and sometimes they want to see you, in a more natural way.
Yeah, and what you said, it's a really good tip because we're connecting with the recruiter or any other person. So it's easier to communicate with someone that we feel that we have some connection. And it also makes us feel comfortable to talk. I think that once I said to my friends to present her job before he asked to her. So you have your project, so present them before he asks to you do it. So you feel more comfortable to present something that you already have done. So be calm and do it. So I think that there are some good tips that can help us in a job interview. So, still talking about communication and job interview, you said that it's one important thing, but not the only one. And but I want to know from you, Ju, is communication one of the most valuable skills, or do you think that there are other more important?
I think nowadays is on one of the most important, because communication, it's in almost all fields you need this ability, not just for a job, but in your personal lives. So it's important. It's not the only one, because you need to have a background related to the thing that you want to know about it, to have information about. But for sure, communication is a key for successful. I can say that.
Yes, and I think that it's at least on my job interview, it was one of the biggest points because it was really important because I felt comfortable to talk. So it makes a huge difference. And you, Sarah, what do you think? Is communication one of the most valuable skills?
Definitely, because it can open you some doors. Like if you are able to approach someone and offer something that you can give, or maybe do an exchange. For example, this all starts with communication. Like, I'm here because I was brave enough to say to you, I'm interested in this project. How can I participate? So the rest is history, you know. But it started with being able to vocalize what I wanted and my what I needed to do. And if I wasn't able to communicate, if I don't do well at an interview, for example, this person will think in a daily basis I won't be able to relate to have a good relationship with my coworkers. For example, I won't be able to talk with clients, and that could be a huge problem for any company, actually.
Great, Sarah. Yes, I totally agree with you. And I think that even in to still growing in a company, once I had a conversation with my boss and asking to him, "Oh, how can I grow here in this company?" So, of course, there are many steps, many secrets, many tips, but a good communication, it's essential. It's really necessary. And you, Fernanda, what do you think?
I think that communication it's really important skill, because um, when you communicate well, you um, normally you can express yourself well in a meeting, for example, or when you are in a job interview, you can have more chances to keep going in the in the process, um, and also to attract, also for networking, I guess. Like, you can have more people in your life, and have a better networking if you communicate well.
Yes, and there are many things to, as we saw in the video at the beginning of this conversation, there are many exercises, there are many techniques that can help us. So I want to know from you if you have ever uh, have you have you taken any courses to improve your communication skills, or do you consider that it's important or not? Sarah?
Yes, I've taken a course about oratory. It was in Portuguese. The Cultive, the platform that I really recommend, with a lot of free courses. And I'm always trying to get some new thing, things there, you know. I think it is important to see some people who are a good example of this skill, like they can give you some tips and advice, and we can always learn. Like, what if, even though sometimes we feel like, oh, it's all the same thing, but I believe that bringing a different perspective can be really helpful for us to improve something, especially the communication. And I like to collect certificates, so it was a good deal for me.
Yes, so you have a certificate in a important skill, so it's good. And you, what do you think?
Some years ago, I tried to improve my communication skills, and not not just communication, but I was very shy, a very introspective person. So I have the idea of take some theater classes, and it was really nice because it's something that exposes you, and there there is not other way. You need to do that. You need to make the dynamics there. We're not forced to it, but we choose to do it, and it was very nice at that time, but I stopped it. I think I take 2 months of class at that time, and I don't talk a lot about it, and you know my secret, but it helped me a lot. And I learned at that time that the best way to improve the communication, to be better in speech in a public conversation, is do it. It's like in English. To learn English, you need to practice. To have a good communication, you need to communicate. It's not easy. It takes time. It's not something that you learn in a course and it's okay, now I'm the best communicator, and it's not this way. But if patient and try to expose when possible, of course, it helps a lot. It helped me a lot.
Great. Yeah, good point. Um, uh, Even before the courses that we do and about communication, we still have to continue doing the practice, the exercises, because there it's something that we have to do. Because otherwise, we will just be we still terrifying or not that good in communication. I have done it once as well, but I feel that I'm still uncomfortable when I have to talk with someone. And I also think that it's because many times I don't use the techniques. I don't do the exercise that we saw. So, and I know that's something that can help me a lot. So it's something that I should do.
Techniques helps, but I feel from my experience that the biggest challenge for me, it's just don't concern a lot about the judgment. I think it's my problem because I always think, okay, I know the subject, I know the techniques, but I'm afraid about the judgment that other people can do for me. So it's by I don't know how to say it.
Barrier.
Yes.
Mm, yeah, great. Thanks you. And you, Fernanda.
I made the same courses that Sarah made on QTV of oratory, but I have difficulty for practicing the techniques of oratory. Normally, I don't use it on my daily life, so that's why it's so difficult to improve communication for me. Like to use the techniques I have learned.
Yeah, I understand you. There's a book that I really wanna read that's that how to use your voice, something like this, the title. And I think, okay, I can buy the book, I can read the book, but how can I put it in practice? So I think this is the harder, put it in practice. Great. So we're talking about communication, speech, job interview. And the question number four, it's kind of related with everything. Is a speech a good way to influence someone? What do you think, you?
I think it's a good way, and you are living a specific time, the elections, that you can see it clear. Speech, it's a tool to convince us to vote in a specific candidate. And forgetting about Brazil, if you see the speech in the United States, they use it as it's a kind of power that they have. If you see a speech from Barack Obama, for example, he's really good of communication skills. So it's very important.
Yeah, and about Obama, it's not just the oratory, it's the gesture, it's the body, it's everything. He communicates with her full body, so it's amazing. And so, Fernanda, what do you think?
I think good communication, a good speech actually can influence people. Like there are leaders that make speech for a lot of people, and they have this ability like to engage everybody for a cause, or even the politicians, as you said, the here in the elections we can see the importance of a good speech. Like we see when the candidate knows how to speak well, and it can influence our vote.
Yeah, and as we said, our communication can say that we are confident, that we are comfortable to talk, and especially in debates, we can see that there are moments that they don't feel comfortable to talk and start to do many gesture and their bodies start to talk a lot. So yeah, it's good to see it in these moments. And so, Sarah.
I cannot speak without my hands, so that's good that I'm just like this. Uh, Sometimes I'm like I'm gonna close my camera, but I can never do it because it's part of my communication, my body language for me. And sometimes I don't know if the person is understanding the things I'm saying, so I make some gestures to help. And I agree with the example of the politicians, and I came up with another one that is about the extreme religions. Like, I wouldn't say it's religion, but it's an extreme case when they influence people, like to even to explode bombs and things like that. And it's like it's so impressive for me and almost unbelievable how people buy this idea, know how the leader makes such a speech that makes people believe that, okay, I can act like this, I can have this behavior, and I will get a reward in the future. So God will give me his mercy and I'll be having something like that. For me, it's a perfect example of how we can use the speech for the bad, Yeah, the bad without question marks for sure. It's impressive.
Great. So here we have some good examples and bad examples of speech. But I want to know from you, and have you ever watched a boring lecture, and what made it boring for you? Sarah?
In college, for sure. I think we've all been there just to get the hours. It was about, I don't know, fruits. It was interesting for some people, but not for me because I think the subject it wasn't so appealing, and mostly because of the way she delivered the message. Without she didn't look excited or really engaging. She was so plain in the communication that I didn't feel connected at all. So I was just there to get my hours, and that was it.
Yeah, it's something really important to remember that sometimes we have to talk more loud, but we also sometimes should not that loud. We don't need to use our voice. And Juju.
Oh, let me think here, and I have a bad example to say, but in the church, I need to stay there, that and just say, God, forgive me, but today is difficult to stay here until the end. It's too boring.
Yeah. Yeah, as we said at the beginning, we have to be connected.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel connected, that speech is not for you.
Yes.
And you, Fernanda?
Um, uh, at in the university, I had a professor that his classes were not good because I felt like he didn't like to answer our questions. And I was like, I was like, why are you a professor if you don't want to answer our questions? And almost everybody got a bad grade in his lecture because his classes were not good.
Yeah, it's terrible. In my case, I was in a lecture about communication, and her speech were amazing. Her um, her body language was really good, but her slides were a mess, a completely mess. So I wasn't paying attention to her. I was paying attention to the the slides, and it wasn't good. So it made that lecture not good. Hey boys, welcome again. So, how was the conversation in this small group, Pedro?
No, very nice. The people was very funny, and we talk a lot.
Yeah, you were very communicative in this small group. And so, Pedro, I want to know from you the question number 8 that we were talking here. Have you ever watched a boring lecture, and what made it boring?
I did it. I don't remember a lecture that I didn't like, but certainly have one. And I think something that can turn this boring, I don't know, for me, the mainly is the topic. When the topic is something that I'm not into, is something that I can't enjoy this. And I don't know why, but the voice, there are people that speak in a way that I don't like, and I feel very struggle with that. For example, when the people is speaking out loud or very loud, I don't know. There are many types of way to speak that turn this boring.
Yeah, and there are many tips to use to improve a speech or in a lecture. And you, Charles, how was the conversation in the small group?
Was amazing, man. Two sharp guys in English. The conversation flow well, smooth. I guess I try to use some adjective here, but that's it. I guess three guys it's good because we have a lot of time. We can uh, throw away maybe in the others fields, and we spend a lot of time talk about a lot of things, and we can keep in the right direction. Yeah, it's amazing. Bruno and Pedro, it's a guy that I know a long time, and for us, it's like a friendly conversation. I miss, of course, Fernanda, Sarah. Long time no see you, Sarah. Fernanda, maybe 3 or 4 days, but Sarah, long time. Good to see you guys. Too. I remember you some meetings, but long time no see you. That's it, I guess.
Great. And which is better for you, online meetings or face-to-face
Oh,
meetings?
it's a trick question for me. Like we talk in the break room, feeling the other person. It's good, but nowadays I don't know anymore. It's more easy talk online, and I'm here in Canada, and for me it's the only way to interact with my relatives, my wife, my daughters, you guys. Nowadays I don't know anymore. Of course, the flavor to talk face to face, it's unique. But I don't know anymore. I will skip this question. I will talk too much for don't say nothing.
There's no problem. And so, Bruno, how was the conversation in small group?
So, like Charles said before, it's very great and a good experience. For me, we talk about a lot of things important in connecting this topic.
Great. And I want to know from you, is communication one of the most valuable skills?
Well, I think, yeah, it's very important. Great to have a great communication, and it's a big skills that you have in today. I think if some moments, depending if your job today, these skills you make a difference in the type of moments. I think it's important.
Great. So, guys, before I end this conversation, please answer the survey that I sent on the chat, please. And guys, I really hope to see you here again next week. Have a great week. Use the tips that we're learning here today. And that's it, guys. Kisses and bye
Thank
bye.
you.